having punishability is something you do not have to have. Going through life and something happens and it just destroys your day, it destroys your week. Somebody says something to you and you're thinking about it for months, for a week. Like, that is literally hindering the way you live your existence. You can live such a clearer path if you remove these things that we're about to talk about today. And this video idea actually came out of the craziest little conversation me and my partner were having. Me and my partner, we were joking around and he goes, "Oh, if you did this, I would punish you like," and there was literally just nothing he could think of that would hurt me or actually like punish me playfully. Like, this was a playful conversation. And that's what I mean by being unpunishable. It's framing your life in such a way where other people can't grab leverage from you. That's why my partner couldn't really think of something for me. You know what he said? He said, "Oh, actually what would be the best punishment would be to take away all those good things that you do because you're just so addicted to them. You're so addicted to work. Taking away your work would punish you. Taking away good things in my life would punish me because I have no entrance points. I don't watch TV. It's not like I'm a child and you can like, oh, let's cut off your TV. There's so little entry points into punishing me, and that's exactly what I want you to have." And I just want to be very clear about something. So many people are living in this mindset today. Children are very punishable because they're very dependent. Sovereign adults are much harder to punish. And I'm sure you've met people like this, but most people are still psychologically living as children. You hear them talk sometimes and you just know their frontal lobe hasn't developed yet. And I really want to encourage you for this video just to actually take these things into consideration. Be super honest with yourself. You cannot help yourself if you're not honest with yourself. Being honest and saying, "Oh, do I actually do this? Like, is there evidence in my life? What is the fruit that I produce?" Trees produce fruit. Good trees produce good fruit. Bad trees produce bad fruit. So what type of fruit are you producing in this area of your life? You can change the type of fruit you're producing. You have the power in your mind. Just before I give you that list of things that you can go through and be like, okay, this is where I need to improve. This is literally exactly what I have to do. Before we get into that, I just want to do a quick introduction. Hey, I'm Toria. This channel's pretty new. You're probably seeing me for the first time, but I would super appreciate if anything in this video really does help you out. I want to spread that to as many people as possible. That is the mission of this YouTube channel. So I would super appreciate you subscribing and staying for the rest of the video. I would love to get to know you. But let's start that process with you getting to know yourself. Some easy things to be controlled by if you have these traits is approval. If you're constantly looking for approval, children look for approval from their parents because children, they're developing, they're watching how everybody's functioning. And some people literally just do not learn to grow out of that. So if you're still in that state of, I want approval from my parents, I'm looking for approval from my friends, there's no shade in that. If you take it, you realize it, and you change it. If you don't have any sort of emotional intelligence, and it's unfortunate because some people just do not have access to learn that from other people. Their parents weren't emotionally intelligent. Like they just haven't seen, observed, or watched, because that's how we learn as humans. We didn't just like come up with the knowledge, we build up on each other's knowledge. And how can you do that if you aren't seeing people who are emotionally intelligent? If you're not emotionally intelligent, you can so easily be manipulated because you don't understand how these human connections work. If somebody tells you something and you just believe it, oftentimes it's super sad. But if you are a super honest person, and I've been there, you kind of just expect the other person to be honest back to you because you are that way, but it's not always that way. And that takes a little bit of emotional intelligence to be like, okay, maybe some societal awareness too of, hey, social awareness. Not everybody is doing everything in my favor. And that's a hard thing to realize if you have a really good heart, because you really want the best for people. But having the emotional intelligence to realize that I'm not supposed to be in this situation, this person is not meant for me, is super crucial. Really striving to be liked is another one. And you see these people in school, at work all the time. They literally just do things for other people. I'm sure you've seen it. I'm sure you know what it's about. If you notice even little traits of that in yourself, just acknowledge it and choose what you'd want to do about it. I'll be super honest. Money is a big one. Money is a really big one. People don't like to admit it, but money really does run the world. If you're financially dependent, it's tough not to listen to the person you're financially dependent from because that is your lifeline. Going to get a job, going to start a business, making income independently if you have the ability to, is something super great you can do for yourself to not give somebody the avenue to control you through money. This one's a super niche one. It's if you're super tied to a certain identity and you're just not willing to debate or let it go, and you let other opinions about this identity of yours make you reactive. So, and this is exactly how sales works. Sales reps, they check your identity. They're like, okay, this person identifies as he wants to support his family. Like his family is a big thing for him. So they're going to take that and they're going to be like, well, aren't you a family man? Well, if this product I could sell you could help you 100x your income, wouldn't you want to buy it? And the man is like, right, because I'm a family man. So they connect it to whatever it is that your identity is. So being super careful about how other people use your identity, it can so easily be manipulated by partners, by parents, by schools, by your job. Making sure and understanding, and oftentimes it starts with understanding how to use other people's identities. But I would super duper recommend that you use it ethically, because it really is something that works dangerously well. And this is how so many people end up getting hurt. So you, look me in the eyes. Please go learn this for yourself to protect yourself, but do not use it as a means to manipulate other people. That'll only come back and bite you in both the left butt cheek and the right butt cheek. Another super easy way to be controlled is criticism. If you're super afraid of what everybody tells you about the things you're doing, about how you look, you can't live like that. Mentally, that is so difficult to live in that position. If you're constantly thinking about what other people think of you, that is so mentally exhausting. And if you're doing that, again, no shame in that. Please realize it and figure out how to change. What can you do to change that? Now, everything that we just mentioned was about eliminating the leverage that people have over your emotions, identity, resources, direction. Now we're going to go ahead and talk about how you can reverse that and make change. I will put this in the simplest form I can from my mind to your mind, because I want you to digest it and to understand it. Punishment is there because of fear. If you do not fear what is about to happen to you, then how can that possibly punish you? When fear is gone, so is punishment. So the next logical question is, how would you get rid of fear? Let's go over some quick ways that you can manage or defeat fear. Staying calm is so underestimated. Having a calm presence is such an amazing trait. It's if something happens to you, you just understand that if I can influence, I will do my very best and give my 100%. And then why else would I feel guilty about not fixing that problem? But if I cannot influence that problem, it's about that calmness of what else can I do? I've done the most I can do. And just practicing saying those phrases to yourself of that is the most I can do. Literally differentiating in your mind, is this something I can influence or is this something I cannot? Differentiating between the two. If it's something I cannot influence, I've really done the most I can. If it's something you can influence, I'm going to give my absolute 100% to fix this problem. The next one is being intentional with how you behave and how you act and how you move. People are so commonly just feathers in the wind, and they have this idea that I will just keep watching YouTube videos, I will just keep watching these self-help videos, and it'll all just happen for me. And I'm just gonna float like a feather, and it's all just gonna work itself out. No, do not be a feather. Be yourself and be intentional. Be intentional with what you want. Be intentional with what it is that you're saying or trying to convey to somebody. There can still be fear if you're doing something unknown, but it's less fear because you're moving with intentionality. You're moving with a plan. Literally taking out a piece of paper and just writing down, these are my most important tasks to achieve this goal. This is how I'm going to do these tasks. This is when I'm going to do them. This is how I'm going to do them. Having a plan, moving intentionally, will take away or suppress fear for the moment until it's gone. Another thing you can do is working on yourself. Self-improvement. What you're doing right now, watching this video, absorbing these things into your mind, figuring out what is benefiting me, what is not. If you're the most exceptional person of yourself, if you're at least striving to become the most exceptional person of yourself, you'll eventually develop things that will help you in life. And naturally, as you move through life with this competence, you will continuously gain confidence in yourself and you begin to trust yourself because you're keeping little promises to yourself. And I actually recently made a video, which I will link right now, about trusting yourself, actual methods that you can use to trust yourself. That's such a huge one. If you don't trust yourself, then you're going to trust others and give them the ability to control you. But if you trust yourself, then you give yourself the ability to control you because you know that you can make the best decisions for yourself. We already touched on this one a little bit, but trying your best. You have one life. Give it your best possible shot. You have this one opportunity at this beautiful life. You can fabricate things in your mind and turn them into a reality. I've seen it, and I'm 100% sure that you'll see it if you give your effort. And how could you feel bad about trying your hardest? If you really gave it your best shot, that is all you had in your fuel tank, then that's just a stepping stone until you succeed. If you continuously give it your best effort, the people who always give effort, continuously, consistently, throwing effort at their goals, they eventually achieve them. I wonder why that is. That's just how God works. And if you're giving out lollipops at the park, not trying to be creepy, not trying to be weird, but you're giving out lollipops at the park, and there are these two children in front of you, and one goes, I really, really want it. I'm going to eat it and I'm going to enjoy it. Like, I'd be so grateful if you gave it to me. I really want it. And then there's this other child that's standing there, and they're just kind of like, yeah, I don't really want, I'd rather go on the slide. I'd rather this. You probably wouldn't give it to the one that isn't even paying attention or interested in your lollipop. You'd give it to the one that is asking politely and is grateful. So why don't you behave to life like that? Why don't you go out and go, hey, I really want this goal. I really want this goal. Keep knocking on that door. Nobody ever knocks on a door once. How weird is that? How weird is that? Like, is that? No, you knock like this. Right? You knock multiple times. So why would you have this perception in life that you can just knock once and it'll happen? Last but absolutely not least is having practice. As you continuously do things that you are afraid of, it gets less fearful. I'll give the example of cold calling. I've done cold calls. If you do not ask, you do not receive. Cold calling was like the most terrifying thing for me. I had a couple of bad experiences, and after that, I was terrified of talking to people on the phone. But as I continued to cold call, I was literally like physically shaking after doing my first cold calls. Now I do them like it's nobody's business. I get people on the phone, I get their emails, I get into contact with them. We're having follow-up calls. If you knock, you practice, you ask. You have to ask, but you have to practice, and eventually the fear will fade away, I promise. Now, I really wish the absolute best for you. I want you to take things from this video and actually implement it into your life. I would super love to see you again. I always read and answer my comments, so please leave me a comment and say hi. This channel is bare, as I had mentioned, so I would super appreciate you subscribing as well. I'd love to see you again. I think it would be such a treat, and I think in the wide space that the internet is, I will for sure find my people that resonate with me. But what a treat it would be to talk to one of you guys in the comments, share experiences, or even meet you in person eventually one day. Please, if you see me in person, like, do not be shy to come up to me. I would love to have a chat with you, because if you're listening to these videos, I imagine your life is super interesting. And you probably know more about me than I do about you. So I'd love to know a little bit about you. So please comment until we meet each other in person. Subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.